I'm here for the future of Canada. We're tired of this, and we can do something, so we're doing something. We can't do much, but we can do this. And I was reminded of my two uncles when I was growing up, who were both truck drivers. And they were just the sweetest guys. If you ever needed a hand, they were there. If you needed a ride home from the hockey rink, they were the first one there. And if they had to wait for you, they'd sit and wait. And this is who was there. This was the heart and soul of Canada. And then it went over the heads of all these guys. I don't think it was an accident. It can't be. CTV reporters are not that stupid. CBC reporters are not idiots. It just sounds like that because they must have been ordered to have a predetermined direction in their story. The standard of journalism that I was required to work to for 20 years was not being followed. It was not journalism as Canada has come to know it and Canada has come to expect when they turn on their televisions. It was something else. It was an advocacy for a point of view. And that's what I saw.
Right. So what do you think goes through the mindset of these journalists that were there doing the reporting while seeing something else? We know the Ottawa police were red pills.
I have no idea what they're thinking. Yeah. What the hell are they thinking? Like, they're not doing their job. They're doing something else. Well, it could be. I mean, I've been out of the business for, close to 20 years now. So it might be that there's a different approach now. That there's a pack mindset that they have their story meeting in the morning and they all decide and then they all got to go out and get the story. This is not new to journalism, right? I remember hearing, some of the colleagues that I considered lesser than because they weren't, approaching. You approach with an open mind and you ask questions. And when you get the answers, then you determine what your story is. But people would say, well, I need someone to say this. Well, that's not really the way you do it. That's the way you get your job done by 6 o'clock, but that's not how you learn the truth, which is really what Canadians are expecting from it. So I don't know what's going through their heads. I don't know what's going through their heads today in late June of 2022 when they're announcing on the CBC radio how many people died of COVID. Do you really think anyone's dying of COVID? My 90-year-old father on a catheter can't lift himself out of a wheelchair, got COVID and shook it off, right? It's not that deadly. We are not, and we never were, walking over bodies on the street. For the level of the Martians are landing extremism that they put into their broadcast. I get it. In the beginning, I covered SARS out of Beijing for 2 years, so I know what goes on, and I know how this thing emerges, and I know how the virus moves faster than public health messaging. So I was giving masks to my son and his girlfriend, saying, you might think I'm weird, but pretty soon these are going to be unfindable in the stores, and you're going to need one to move around the city of Toronto. And I wasn't wrong about that. But pretty soon you started scratching your head. Like, if you got a friend who works in the hospital, my God, what's it like? Whew, easiest job I've had, there's nobody in it. Hospital's empty. Time and again, nurses, doctors, technicians. There was one doctor friend of mine who said, oh yeah, we got a lot of COVID patients because they just shifted them all over from the nursing home when they locked down a floor. Now they're in the hospital. They haven't got COVID, but they've got positive tests. And now we've got them for 14 days until they can go back. So for the next 14 days, we're adding to the statistics.